They say you can always feel when you're being watched, but what if it's too late by the time you notice? That thought kept echoing in my mind as I volunteered to reorganize the university library's basement archives, an endless maze of crumbling books and forgotten records. The lower I went, the colder it got, and the silence pressed in until every movement sounded like a scream. I chalked up the prickling in my neck to paranoia, until I found a diary wedged behind a stack of yearbooks, its leather cover warped with age. I started reading, at first out of boredom, then out of unease. The entries belonged to someone named Thomas, dated nearly a century ago. He wrote about endless hours cataloging books, about how he never saw another soul in the archives after dark. But midway through, the tone shifted. Thomas described the sensation of eyes boring into him, shadows that seemed to slither just out of sight, and a presence he couldn't explain. As I turned the pages, my own breath quickened, the flickering fluorescent lights above me humming louder. The last few entries were frantic, scrawled so hard the pen tore the paper. Thomas wrote that he heard someone breathing behind the stacks, that he'd caught glimpses of a tall, thin figure reflected in the glass doors, always just behind him. He tried to convince himself it was his imagination, but the entries ended abruptly after one final, desperate message: "He's behind you right now." My heart thudded as I realized my own shadow stretched impossibly long across the floor, twisting in ways the single overhead light couldn't explain. I snapped the diary shut and backed away, but the cold breath on my neck told me I wasn't alone. The silence was broken by a faint, rasping whisper, so close it rattled in my bones. I spun around, but all I saw was the maze of shelves, except, in the reflection of a dusty glass, a pale face loomed over my shoulder, eyes black and hollow. The lights above me flickered and died, plunging the basement into utter darkness, and I finally understood why no one ever came down here after dark.